The Amazing World of Gumball is known for its surreal humor and mixed animation styles, but what if these elements aren't just creative choices? One of the most compelling cartoon theories suggests that Elmore exists within a collapsing multiverse experiment, with each animation style representing a different layer of failed simulation. According to this theory, the strange gibberish and glitches occasionally seen throughout the show aren't random comedic elements, they're fragments of corrupted realities bleeding through. The characters exist in a state of semi-awareness, trapped in a deteriorating simulation, but unable to fully comprehend their predicament. Gumball's chaotic humor and seemingly random adventures mask moments of existential panic when reality briefly flickers, revealing the truth of their situation. The theory further suggests that Darwin was never actually a fish who grew legs. He's a fundamental glitch in the system born from corrupted code that manifested as Gumball's pet before evolving into something more. The show's occasional fourth wall breaks and meta-commentary take on a darker meaning with this interpretation. They're not just clever writing, they're desperate attempts by the characters to acknowledge their artificial existence. Dark fan theories about cartoons like this one transform Gumball's colorful absurdity into a psychological horror about beings trapped in a decaying digital prison. The various animation styles, from traditional 2D to claymation to CGI, represent different failed attempts at creating a stable reality, with the inhabitants of Elmore cobbled together from the remnants of these collapsed universes. 3. Ferb's Silent Pact, The Price of Saving Phineas. Fans of Phineas and Ferb have long wondered why the green-haired inventor rarely speaks. While the show presents this as simply part of his personality, a darker theory suggests a more tragic explanation. Ferb isn't naturally quiet, he's cursed. According to this theory, Ferb once made a desperate deal with an ancient supernatural force to save Phineas from death. The price for his brother's life, Ferb's voice and his memories of the event. This sacrifice explains not only Ferb's near silence, but also the brothers' obsessive need to make the most of every summer day. Subconsciously, they're aware of how close they came to losing everything. Each invention the boys create is theorized to be Ferb's subconscious attempt to rebuild something he's forgotten, working through the trauma of his sacrifice through increasingly elaborate projects. The theory suggests that Dr. Doofenshmirtz isn't actually evil, he's trying to stop the boys from inadvertently opening a doorway to whatever entity Ferb made his deal with. Creepy cartoon theories like this one point to subtle evidence throughout the series. Ferb's occasional cryptic statements that suggest hidden wisdom beyond his years, his unnatural technical abilities, and the boys' inexplicable access to impossible materials and technology. Perhaps these aren't just cartoon logic, but hints at a supernatural pact with consequences still unfolding. This interpretation transforms the show's cheerful summer adventures into a poignant story about sacrifice and the lengths one brother would go to save another, even at the cost of his own voice and memories. Craig of the Creek appears to be a wholesome show about children playing in a natural setting, but one disturbing theory suggests something far more sinister is occurring. According to this interpretation, the creek isn't just a place for play, it's an ancient entity that demands imagination as sacrifice. The theory proposes that children who play at the creek unknowingly feed it with their fantasies and creative energy. The more they imagine and create, the more the forest grows and thrives. This symbiotic relationship seems harmless until you consider the darker implication. What happens to children who stop believing? According to the theory, kids who outgrow their imagination or stop visiting the creek don't simply move on, they vanish, absorbed by the entity to fuel its continued existence. The theory points to old tree carvings showing names of children who were taken as evidence of this centuries-old pattern. Most disturbing is Craig's growing suspicion that the Creek elders aren't just playing elaborate games. They remember what happens to those who stop believing. Their continued presence and dedication to the Creek's traditions might be a desperate attempt to maintain their own existence by feeding the entity what it needs. This interpretation transforms the show's celebration of childhood imagination into a horror story about an ancient force that preys on children's creativity, with the Creek itself as a sentient predator disguised as a playground. Cartoon dark theories often emerge from unexplained plot elements or mysterious character behaviors, and this one makes us question the true nature of the Creek's magic. Total Drama Island pushed the boundaries of what a children's animated show could get away with, but one theory suggests the reality was far darker than what aired. According to this disturbing interpretation, some seasons of the show were never broadcast because the contestants never returned. The theory proposes that there exist lost seasons of Total Drama where host Chris McLean experimented with true horror, creating challenges that went beyond mere discomfort into genuinely life-threatening territory. The cameras continued rolling even as these challenges turned deadly, documenting the horrifying outcomes that would never see public broadcast. Supporters of this theory point to characters like Eva and Ezekiel, suggesting they weren't eliminated from the competition, but were actually survivors of these unaired, deadly seasons. Their strange behavior and altered appearances in later seasons weren't just comedic choices, but the result of psychological and physical trauma from what they witnessed and endured. Perhaps most chilling is Chef Hatchett's role in this theory. His reluctance to speak about certain events and his nervous behavior around Chris aren't just quirky character traits. He knows the truth about what happened during those lost seasons, but is too terrified of Chris to speak out. The most compelling conspiracy theory cartoon interpretations like this one transform the show's already questionable ethics into something truly sinister, suggesting that beneath the cartoon violence lies a documentary of actual horror that was too disturbing to ever air. The popularity of cartoon theories often emerges from our desire to find deeper meaning in the entertainment we consume. These dark fan theories about cartoons transform lighthearted shows into complex narratives with psychological depth, allowing us to engage with familiar content in new and thought-provoking ways. Whether these theories hold any water or are simply creative interpretations, they demonstrate how deeply fans connect with animated series. The most disturbing, creepy cartoon theories are those with substantial evidence from the shows themselves, making us question whether the creators might have hidden these darker narratives beneath the surface all along. Next time you watch your favorite animated show, you might find yourself looking a little closer at the background details, wondering what sinister secrets might be hiding in plain sight.